Now, in my opinion, Gawain is actually quite a bit harder than Lancelot, mostly because you have to memorise his attacks, and he won't, like, if you make a mistake, he will punish you for it.
Yeah, well, essentially, it's kind of harder because it's harder to get hits in because he defends a lot more than Lancelot does.
And when he's close to dying, he'll use the Iron Meteor attack, which basically he throws his things at you.
Yeah, that's a pretty sweet attack actually.
Talk about last ditch effort, you know what I'm saying?
I like the fact that we're basically running around Stonehenge. That's pretty cool.
It's never, mentioned by name though that it's actually Stonehenge.
Yeah.
Your shield will run out, by the way, so don't try and spam it.
I love how theirs get knocked out. Luckily, he looks like a fucking ragdoll. Now, one thing I will say is that in the video section, after you actually defeat these bosses, you can unlock videos where they show you basically how to take down Lancelot, Gawain, and Percival in like 6 seconds flat.
That's pretty cool, actually, how they give you, like, tutorials and the like.
It's nice, especially like, if you're bad at him, do what we do, and... Oh, I like that if in the axe it says rust the axe, but it could become golden, which was a nice little in-joke.
Yeah, well, we'll leave the audience to discover what that reference means.
I like this scene because this is quite dark. He's fucking just cut his head off.
No, he's gonna slit his throat is what he's gonna do.
It's quite a dark thing for us on a game.
What's up with all this drama?
Griffith! Yeah, this is kind of one of the traits of a knight. If they're defeated by an enemy, they would usually kill themselves.
Which is, again, quite dark.
The fuck is wrong with his shoes?
He's got a Lego block for a shoe. No, I like this bit because in the story of the game, like, I think, personally, I kind of feel that Sonic and Knuckles make the kind of, maybe not the deepest connection, but they kind of have a nice little arc about chivalry that it's brought back at the very end of the game. Which I thought, I just like the fact that they kind of kept Knuckles and, because throughout the game, Knuckles and Sonic actually act the most rivalish.
Well, Sonic and Gawain.
And Gawain, yeah, and Gawain, because Percival seems to have respect for him since from the start. And of course, Lancelot's just like, a
twat as always. Yeah.
Challenge you to a duel.
Now, if you actually beat the knights, I'm not sure if this takes effect after the halfway point of the game, but if you beat them with certain requirements, you actually get an item called a medal, and if equipped, it will play either Unknown from ME, All Hail Shadow, the Crush 40 version, or Villanova from Sonic Rush.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Though the only I love that those mushrooms, of course, very reminiscent of the mushrooms from Mushroom Hill Zone from Sonic and Knuckles. So much so, they actually use the original sound effect.
It sounds a lot better though, it's not like bollocks.
No, but again, that just shows the amount of awesome fan service that was in this game.
I do like Crystal Cave, it's got a very underrated theme.
Again, I really liked all the music in this game.
Of course, me being the person who recorded this playthrough, I had to spend a lot of time on these levels recording and re-recording because I tried to do it without taking a hit. So I got to hear the soundtrack a lot more than the average person would.
Alright, suit you, sir.
Yes,
than the average person. I play way more than you do because I'm in Tom 64.
I fucking hate you so much. One day you'll wake up and you find me standing there, and I'll have a Caliburn replica, and we'll see who's the man there. Anyway.
Yeah, well, the grown man standing in my room holding the big sword. Yes, I'm sure we'll wonder who's the man then, Tom.
Yes, indeed.
Now, I really love the soul gauge attack. They just look so badass. Now, what did you think of the use of fairies as opposed to actual like springs and stuff?
Oh, it fits in with the theme, I would say.
Now, have we talked about the extra missions?
Oh, the ones that aren't applicable to the story.
Yes.
No, I haven't. We haven't even. So, do you want to explain?
Basically, yes, there's actually another bit of fan service in this game called Legacy Missions. Essentially, what that does is makes the game a lot more Sonic-like, and it replaces the yellow fairies with rings, the blue fairies with springs, and it replaces the Knights of the Underworld with robots.
The flying egg robos.
Yes, now...
In fact, we'll actually be seeing 8 or so of them in part 13 onwards on YouTube, at least.
Nice. Now, if you will explain, Tom, how you unlock these missions?
Well, do you think I should talk about them when they're actually applicable, mate?
Well, if you could explain it now, so that maybe I could unlock one or two, that would be quite fun.
Well, I think they unlock after you beat the final boss, and then after you beat legacy missions, more and more open up. At the time, I only thought there were 8. After I finished recording the entire playthrough, I then started unlocking more, which is kind of a bitch, really.
Now, where does the first one appear then? Because I've been looking for it and I can't seem to find a legacy mission at the moment.
I think it's in a level called Knight's Passage, not to give it
Knight's
away.
Passage. Alright, cool. I'll look for it
In
there.
fact, just a bit of trivia now, because we probably won't have time to explain later. If you beat Knight's Passage with a very high rank, you get the Medal of Sonic, which plays what I'm made of when equipped.
Oh, seriously?
Yep.
Nice. Oh, that's kind of odd. What I'm made of. I wouldn't have thought they would have chosen that.
Well, it is a Crush 40 song.
It's a Crush 40 song, yeah, but it's not specifically a Sonic theme, as it will, is it?
Well, we'll talk about more of the legacy stages and whatnot, the mechanics, etc. when we actually get there.
Sounds good. Now, this is a nice little stage.
Now, speaking of mechanics, it's very odd because there's one in this particular level which, as far as I can recall, never appears again in the game.
Oh, nice. And that is?
Well,
Oh, yes! Oh, yes,
yeah.
yeah. It kind of reminds me of the mirror level in SA1.
Slightly. Oh, yeah. Basically, you control the light shaft by actually twisting the Wii remote.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, essentially it is like the level Lost World, I believe, in SA1, where you have to move mirrors around.
Let me just say, the Will-O-Wisps, you lock onto them with the Soul Surge, and wait until the reticle turns into a full circle, and then flick the Wii nunchuck, not the remote.
Pretty cool. Burn, bitch!
Your enemies are destroyed by the light. It's not bad. It could have used some fine tuning, but it's not all over the place, really.
So essentially, these enemies, it's kind of not consistent because these enemies here will like die in sunlight, but like every other level they walk around in sunlight perfectly fine.
Well, I think this is concentrated light via the Sacred Sword, mate. Come on, get it right.
This is concentrated light. It's not like regular light. It's light through a sword.
Well, Sacred Sword. What are you gonna do?
But see, these again, I think I mentioned earlier, level-specific gimmicks, which is what they've always had them in Sonic games. Which is what even Unleashed 360 was mission.
I suppose I think Unleashed was a bit shallow. I'll be honest.
Well, no, whoa! You said it was this generation's SA1.
Then it took you a bit of time to get that title out, didn't you? No, I've changed my mind. Still a good game, but in hindsight or retrospect or whatever the fuck the phrase is, it's a good game, bit shallow.
You fickle bastard.
So I am. Now I believe we're actually going to take on the last of the knights, Dame or Sir Percival.